another team member. 5 days before the local government elections, well, 6 at this point, political parties are contesting in eThekwini, which used to be one of the strongholds for the governing party, the ANC. There are service delivery issues in the metro, including a lack of proper sanitation. For more on this, let me take you to eNCA's Nqobile Madlala, who joins me now. And Nqobile, I believe that you are joined by activists, one MAKHOSI KHOZA from Action SA, and I believe Nqobile Madlala from the Abahlali organization.
Yes, Tulas, interestingly, before we even got started, they were already having a conversation about what is the way forward for this place. But where I'm standing, Tulas, is a place called Briardine. And this place has over 100 people. This is just a small area. It has over 100 people living in these kind of houses. The conditions are not really the kind of conditions you would like to live in. There's no water here, there's no lights, there's obviously illegal also lights here going on with electricity. But also, to us, interestingly, not so long ago there was an issue with regards to the fact that there was pits toilets that were installed here. Now you'll remember Nabila Sheikh covering that story, my colleague. But now those toilets were over R1 million. Seems like the residents are still not happy. The residents still wants change. And as the elections come on, we want to know from the residents themselves what are the issues that they would like to be addressed immediately as we go into the elections.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguThabile ngwakaMakhoba, ngihlala khona la eBriardine enumber 11. For more than 20 years sihlala kule ndawo lena kungekho shintsho, kungekho proper housing. Njengamanje sithe kade sishelwe sanikezwa lamazenki le. Umuntu ophilayo nomuntu ocabangayo la ekhanda angeke uzukwazi ukuhlala endlini enje. I-tin house. Indlu engenasithunzi, engenalutho. Mangabe kushisa kakhulu, mangabe kubanda kakhulu. Shuthi sitreatiswa like ofishi ngoba phela ofishi abakwazi ukuthi behlale ethinini. Angeke umuntu ephilayo ehlale endlini enje nendaweni enje ngoba kade izulu linetha nje amanzi ayangena phansi angene ukugula ingane zizogula sizongena amathambo izifo zamathambo sizongena yizo zonke izifo ezikhona emhlabeni.
Siyabonga kakhulu mama, kodwa nifunani yini nifuna kwenzeka?
Njengamanje sifuna ama proper housing kuphela nje la ukuzokwazi ukuthi khona indlu abazoyakha ibe nesithunzi njengomuntu nama toilet nogesi. Ama toilet la, imagine ama toilet eseduze kwezindlu la esihlala khona. Uyadla ngala nathi itoilet eduze uyagula lapho. Asitreatiswa okabantu abanengqondo, abantu abacabangelayo. Bazosicabangela bezosifakela amathini. Siyacatshangelwa ukuthi sifunani. Hayi ngoba imali ingekho, ikhona imali. You know how much ekostile ukuthenga lamazenki la? It's more than R1 million imali ethengela amazenki lawo esinikeze wona. Beke ngeke beyithathe leyo mali leyo bezosakhela proper housing.
Well, very clearly explained there, they want proper housing, they want sewer, they want electricity, they want water. But of course, as you come in, Mama, in Action SA, you are going to have to you're going to have to work on these problems, which we are clearly seeing, and the people are explaining. What are you as Action SA going to do for these people? What are the solutions?
As Action SA, we are not just gunning for votes. We are really demanding democracy with dignity, and we acknowledge that the problems that have been created for us as potential incoming government of eThekwini because of corruption are enormous. The infrastructure backlog in eThekwini is just unbelievable. You still have to fix the sanitation infrastructure that is already even overspilling to the sea. And again, it's not clear that the ANC government understands the character of its own society. You have a lot of migration that is coming from eThekwini, from neighboring communities. There are people that are coming from the Eastern Cape, from the rural KwaZulu-Natal, that come to eThekwini in search of jobs. And you can't I mean, eThekwini does not have abundant land. We don't even have enough land for cemeteries. Now, how do you introduce these kinds of housing? Instead of having a proper plan, build affordable, high-rise buildings that are going to accommodate more people. We are a cosmopolitan city. And again, you must understand, if eThekwini is going to continue being financially sustainable, it also has to think about protecting the middle class of eThekwini and making sure that their properties are not devalued, because they must continue paying rates so that eThekwini is able to have enough money to subsidize the poor. But if you don't do that, you are not going to be able to resolve these problems of eThekwini.
Talking about that middle class, just across, literally a stone throw from where we are, there are people with properties worth millions, and they've already explained that they are worried about their property value. How do you deal with a situation like this? There's people wanting a place to live, and there's people wanting to protect their property value.
You know, I'm going to talk to you as a total quality systems developer. You have to think systematically whenever you are developing a plan. The ANC does not think about in a systematic way. They only think about the tenders that they need to dish out to their friends. If they were thinking systematically, they would have introduced decent housing here so that these people do not only enjoy democracy in South Africa, but they also enjoy human dignity, which is guaranteed by the Constitution, Chapter 1 of the Constitution. And they ought to have built high-rise buildings so that the properties adjacent to this area are not affected. I'm telling you from own personal experience, I live in Hillcrest. The ANC has allowed the people, there's lawlessness, literally. Anybody can just invade any space in eThekwini. There's no enforcement. There is nothing. You can't run a country like that. You need to ensure that you keep the highest standards of equality for any particular country. And the starting point is to give people dignity and understanding the people that you need to be servicing. And I am saying we need to think about all the different classes. We need to think, yes, about the poorest of the poor. But for the poorest of the poor to be able to enjoy dignity and services, you need the middle class not to be compromised in the process. Because what happens with them is that because they have money, what they will do, they will leave the city. And what happens? Then we are going to have, our revenue stream is going to decline. And how are you going to service the poor? It's an act of self-sabotage. And that is why I always say corruption is evil. And it's irrational because it doesn't think about the effects of what they are doing. A person just they think about their tummies and their immediate families and friends, and they forget about the entire community, that it's interdependent, interconnected, and interrelated. You can't think about one against the other. You need to think about it in a holistic way.
And talking about that holistic view of everything, people are saying that they've heard these promises in the past from ANC. Are you just promising, or do you have an actual plan?
Let me tell you something. As I said it to you, I'm not in politics because I can't cut it in the private sector. I hold a doctoral degree, and I came into this because I care about what is happening. So I am saying to you, what I am telling people is that we've got to deliver high-rise buildings. We have to re-engineer the entire city, replan the entire design of the city, because there is no way you are going to be able to address the over 528 informal settlements that we have all over eThekwini unless you have a long-term plan. There are things that you need to do immediately, and that is ensuring that people at least live in dignified environment. Those are the things that we can promise people that we can do as Action SA, but we won't eradicate the 528 informal settlements overnight. It's got to be a comprehensive plan.
All right, thank you very much. More Action SA speaking to us there about their plans to ensure that something like what you see behind me doesn't have to happen to the people that are in Bryadene. But of course saying that they would look at the more than 500 informal settlements as a whole in terms of how to effectively give a solution for those informal settlements.